Boom, we are live. What's up, fam? What's up, Facebook group? Let me actually pull up the group too so I can get this in the chat. But let's see here. Okay, cool. We're in. So guys, let's welcome Jeff Sekinger into the group and onto the channel, depending where you're watching this, Facebook or YouTube. So I'm stoked to have you, man. Really excited to break down like what we have in the headline here. And really like, because I know you're doing a lot of the stuff for me and I'm seeing some of it happen as we go through it all. But guys, it's going to blow your mind. So we'll get into a lot of details. I'm still just trying to pull this up in the group. But Jeff, man, introduce yourself. Like, we'd love to hear from you and, you know, what you're about, who you are.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So first of all, I met Rob last October, so probably like 10 months ago. And we met at a conference in Atlanta. It was a marketing conference. And I was like literally just kind of like building my credit consulting agency. I just quit my job at JP Morgan. So I've always been in like the finance industry. Really since I was 16, I've been investing. And I worked for 3 different banks. I just really hated the corporate life. So I quit my job and I knew I was going to go into the credit space because I launched my business in credit at JP Morgan. I was getting financing for startups through credit, and JP Morgan was like, you can't do that. You're going to be a competitor to some of our partners. So I ended up quitting. And then the next month I met you, Rob, and I know that I talked about the business that I was launching, and it has just absolutely exploded in 2019. Just really blown up. So what do I do now? I help entrepreneurs and small businesses leverage credit to really 2 things. It's either travel for free or create new income streams or / scale a business. And I do that through leveraging 0% interest financing, where you have 0%, you pretty much are using other people's money at a 0% interest rate for 3 to 5 years. And then I also teach people how to just leverage credit in their business and their personal life, to play the whole points game, and to play the travel hacking game, to get free statuses at hotels, car rentals, anything like that. So that's what I do now. I have a few courses, I have a few groups, and I do consulting as well, one-on-one with people. So that's where I'm at now.
Dude, okay, so let me back up a little bit before we move forward. What? I cannot believe that's when we met. That was so you were only out of your corporate job for a month when we met the first time in the mansion house in Atlanta?
Yeah, okay, so actually I quit, dude, I probably quit 12 months ago. A little bit less than 12. I think I quit August 16th of last year, and then I moved in downtown in September, and that was really when it started. So yeah, it was technically 2 months before that. Yeah.
That's crazy. Man, things move fast. I remember when you were just talking about it, because some people may not have been following me at that time, because I used to stream a lot more in the Facebook group. Now it's a lot of like more trainings. But I remember when we streamed that, guys, it was in Atlanta. We had a mansion with like, so it was insane because we had like 10 people there and we only had like 8 beds or something weird. And it just got crazy. Onesies got pulled out. Not Jeff. Jeff didn't bring a onesie, but it was like, man, we had a thick group there. It was like you, Robbie, Justin. It was a fly group.
Pabia. A lot of people. Pabia, yeah.
That was a fun.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was really fun. Yeah, we had like, that was like the Bohemian Villa or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my gosh.
That was sick.
That was a blast.
But yeah, that was really like, since then, just everything has just absolutely taken off. So I just truly, truly believe in the power of networking. And, you know, if you can't make it to an event, the next best thing is join groups like what people are in right now.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Guys, Jeff's not on Facebook hardly ever. Like, he's grown his business well into the 6 figures without having to like spend all of his time on Facebook. So I am super envious of that. That's awesome. So tell us what?
Go. I was just gonna say I'm mostly on Instagram, but I get on Facebook every once in a while to look at Messenger, and that's about it.
Dude, so what do you do to grow your business right now? Because you're doing well, like really well. So
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, man, I pumped. So even before I quit my job, I was paying influencers for shout outs, specific influencers like on Instagram that were finance or like investing related. So I would pay them for shout outs before I even had a product. So I really have been building my brand for probably like 16 months now. And honestly, man, I ran my whole business organically through Instagram until about like last month when my ads started hitting, and I'm doing direct outreach with VAs now. So it was straight organic, and I mean, there was a there was a few months where I started, I think, in the beginning of 2019, I was right around like 40K a month, and then the highest organic month I had was 104,000. And that was when I launched like a whole new consulting program. So that was pretty sweet. But yeah, now like paid traffic is working. So now that's how I'm growing my business and just doing direct outreach and stuff like this. I really, really like connecting with other entrepreneurs and being able to leverage each other's audiences, because that's how you grow and that's how you provide value. And that's just what I've been doing, is providing free value like this in groups or on lives on Instagram, or I push out a lot of stuff on my IG too. So that's what I'm doing to grow mine right now.
that's nasty, guys. So I hope you're catching all that. Like, there's so many different ways to make a business work. And unlike the majority of people I bring into this group, Jeff is not in digital marketing. He's in credit. And the reason why I brought Jeff in here, and he's also not in sales, like, so most of the time it's just sales or people in marketing that's in this group. But Jeff has worked with a lot of people in the marketing space to be able to leverage his skill set to be able to get them. I mean, Jeff, you're spending like what, 6-10 grand a month on ads, and you're not paying for any of them.
Yeah, it's probably honestly closer to 6 right now. So it's not that I'm not paying. I mean, I'm getting a good ROA right now. So technically I'm not paying. But what I do is I have specific cards that I put those on, and I pair those with other cards. So I get way more value. So I'm traveling for free. I travel probably on average, probably every like 2 to 4 weeks. And I have not paid for I've paid a total of $5 for flights this year. And I've easily been on over 40 flights this year. And what's the other? Oh, and then, yeah, as far as like actually not paying for stuff, you're probably referring to just leveraging other people's money. So I use like business lines of credit and 0% business credit cards to invest into new income streams and into my business, so I can scale quicker. So that's the whole science. The whole science behind credit is just, okay, you're paying this interest rate, but you can earn an ROI at this interest rate. So you're really just playing that marginal difference, that game. And that's what I do. I invest in the things that create new income streams, and I leverage other people's money in order to do so. And I can get into more details on this here in a second if you want.
Yeah, I think that would be great. If you guys have any questions in regards to how you can apply this to your business, ask them below. Gilberto had a question there where he asked the difference between a creative agency and a digital agency. We're not going to discuss agency stuff on here. Oh, the man himself, Justin Saunders, hopped on too. What's up, dude?
Nice.
We're not going to talk about agency stuff on this, guys, because the information. Oh, yeah, I pulled the hat back out, Justin. I did. And I said I wasn't going to do it again, and I ended up doing it. So we're not going to talk about agency stuff. We're going to specifically focus on credit and business growth with this, because these are things that aren't talked about in the community, especially our little bubble of digital marketing. And it's big time, like, overlooked. So let's dive into that, where you're starting. Like, when you start out with trying to get credit, because it's almost like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like, why can't I get a credit card if I don't have credit? So let's start there, and then let's work all the way up to like the biggest credit hacks that people are not talking about.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, first of all, I think it's just important to understand why you even need credit in the first place. So like, I literally just moved into a new house in San Diego that's so sick. And the only reason I got that is because I had good credit. Same with my previous apartment, same with my car, same with I'm paying a lower premium on my interest or on my insurance. You'll pay a lower premium if you are, or a lower down payment if you're getting a car, anything like that. You're going to pay less money if you have good credit score. A lot of employers are now checking your credit. So if you have a 9 to 5, which probably a lot of people in this group do not, or maybe they do, I'm not sure. A lot of employers check your credit. It's literally lower interest rates on all your debt. So if you have a good credit score, your credit cards, your lines of credit, your mortgage, any type of debt is going to be at a lower interest rate, and that really, really adds up quickly. And then once we have a good credit score, we can leverage that to do really two things. So do you want me to kind of go into those, or do you want me to explain how people can get a better credit score?
Let's start with getting the better credit score, because guys, so money, how much you make, really has no correlation to credit score. So I'm doing well as well, and the thing is, my credit score was dog crap, which made it hard because I had to constantly be paying cash for everything.
Yep, I see that
on that with me.
I see that super often too. A lot of people just kind of neglect their credit, or just really don't check it at all, and they end up in a bad spot with their credit score, and then they cannot get a house, they can't get a car, they can't get any travel cards. They start to scale a business. Now they're paying all their money, they're using all their cash flow for stupid expenses, and they just can't scale quickly, and it really, really limits people. So I mean, it's incredibly important to have a good credit score. So first of all, how do you even check your credit score? I want to just get into that real quick. So you never want to go on to Credit Karma and get your credit score there. I mean, it's good to check every once in a while just to have the Credit Karma there. But if you want your true credit score, if you're going to be applying for something, if you're going to get a house or a car or anything, go on to myfico.com, create an account, and those are your 3 bureaus. There's 3 bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. That gives you all 3 of those reports, and it gives you your credit score. Anytime you're actually getting a real FICO credit score, you're going to pay money for it, because it costs money to generate the score. You can get a free report at annualcreditreport.com, but that is not an actual score. If you want those things, go on to myFICO. I actively monitor my stuff pretty much every single day. It's probably every other day I'll look at it. But I get alerts on there when a new inquiry is on there, anything. So go on to myFICO and get your real credit score and see what's going on with your credit. Because a lot of people, I had a girl a few months ago say, hey, I've got a good credit score, I'm getting denied for all these credit cards. I said, okay. She's like, yeah, I got a 740. I'm like, sweet. Okay, let's go. What are you looking at? She's like, Credit Karma. I'm like, okay, let's go on to myFICO, go create an account on there. She created an account, and she actually had a 570, and she had a 5, and it was such a huge difference, because it was not your myFICO score is a real FICO score. And that showed a bunch of collection accounts that Credit Karma and that Vantage score did not show. So she was like, she had 4 collections on there that she didn't even know about. And that's exactly why she's getting denied. So with that being said, I kind of want to just talk about credit scoring in general. So the 2 biggest categories are your payment history, which is 35% of your score. So if you have a derogatory mark, which is any collections or charge off, that's just a really late account. Anything really is usually over 90 days. A company will push it into collections from you not paying it. And then also within that payment history category, that 35%, there's also included 30-day late payments. So those are just shorter late payments. If you actually look up your score, which is really easy to do, and look up what goes into your score, because myFICO shows you what goes into your score, you would see the payment history split up into 2 different payment or categories. It's derogatories, and then your percentage of on-time payments. So if you have bad payment history, I always suggest going to cfpb.gov. That's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Rob, I don't know if you want to drop that below somewhere.
What is that? How do you spell it?
At cfpb.gov. So Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It's like a white site. It has some like green like categories. And then in the top right, it says submit a complaint. You can just go up there and submit a complaint and challenge all of your late payments. I always recommend people start there. Even inquiries you can challenge as well. Anything that you don't think should be on there or you think that wasn't really your fault, you should absolutely challenge. It takes 5 minutes. They have to get back to you in 14 days or the bank actually gets fined. And this bureau was set up after 2008 to protect consumers against big banks like this. So I always recommend starting there. So disputing your late payments, anything negative on your report, go there and dispute it. The next biggest category is utilization. So that's 30% of your credit score. So that's just utilization means how much debt are you utilizing on an account. So if you have a $10,000 credit card and you spend $2,000 on it, that's a 20% utilization. You want to be keeping your utilization under 30%. If you want a perfect score, it needs to be between 0 and 10%. So many people will max out their cards and be like, holy shit, my credit score is terrible. It's like, yeah, because your utilization is so high. When I used to leverage credit the wrong way with my personal credit cards, I had like a 524 and I paid off my debt, all of it at once. My score went up 188 points. So that is the power of utilization. Like if you are maxing out all your cards, your score is going to be really low and you will not be able to get new credit.
So when you say you want to keep it at like 10% for a perfect score, when you say perfect score, are you referring to like a 750 to 800 credit score?
850 is a perfect credit score.
850. So at 10%, are you saying like if I had a $10,000 limit, I need to make sure that if I spend 5,000, that I need to make sure 1,000 stays on the balance?
You would want it. You would want between 0 and 9%. Really, you can pay the full card down, but actually having it at 0% is actually not ideal. It'll raise your score like 5 points if you actually have a little bit of debt on there instead of a zero balance. It doesn't really matter what limit you have on there as long as it's between 0 and 9% of the total credit limit.
So Angel just asked on here, did you pay your debt with a business credit card or how did that process work for you?
So I did I maxed out my shit when in like college, and I had because I was running like an e-commerce business where I took on a bunch of inventory. So I ended up getting like a consolidation loan to pay everything off. But I didn't know about what I teach now, which is moving everything over to business credit cards, because that's exactly what you should do because the utilization does not report. So I can this is a perfect example. Like this Chase Inc. Preferred, it's a business credit card. This is what I run on most of my ads on. Any amount of money that I spend on this, I can max this card out and have it maxed out, and it doesn't lower my score because this is a business credit card, and they only report if I default on this credit card. So it doesn't. I leverage all my money on business credit cards. So if you have a lot of debt, the thing is though, you need to get your utilization under 50%, or when you apply for new credit cards, even on the business side, you're going to get declined because their algorithms sense that you have a lot of debt, which means you're higher risk. So that's the thing. Like if you have way too much debt, you need to get each account under 50% utilization. So a $10,000 credit card needs to be under $5,000 on every single account, not your average, on every single account. And then you can apply for business credit cards and move the debt over. So that's exactly what I teach people that come into my program that have a lot of debt. We move everything over to 0% business credit cards, and that saves them thousands of dollars. Just depends on how much they have.
Well, and you have to have good credit in order to get those credit cards, right?
Yeah, and that's part of if you have high utilization, you're not going to have good credit. If you have a lot of payment, negative payment history, you're probably not going to get approved. So yeah, there's a few things that I specifically look for people to have their score in good order prior to applying. But yeah, you're exactly right. Even with business credit cards, you still have to have a good personal score, and that's why building this personal score foundation is so important before you move everything over to the business side, because you want to have. I always recommend having 10 accounts. Really, if you have between 5 and 10 accounts before you move on to business, that's great. But you actually need 21 accounts to have a perfect score. And these business credit cards are not reporting on your personal credit, so that doesn't count as an account.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dude,
so you kind of
some next level shit.
Yeah. So you really, really want to start on the personal side, and that's not just for credit cards. That's to get lower mortgages. That's to get approved for a cool car in the future, for an apartment. I mean, credit affects literally everything. So it's always just really, really good to build that foundation personally before moving on.
Wow. See, it's so funny because whenever I shot out the first chatbot blast when we did the masterclass with you, I had so many people reply back like, Rob, I love your content. Your stuff's awesome. I've been following you for a while. Kind of curious, why am I getting a message about credit repair? And I was like, if you guys could only like be open-minded enough to where I never blast out anything irrelevant. And I hope everyone watching this, we've had a few dozen people up in here, like understands like the importance of this. That's why when Jeff came in and I was using Credit Karma. So Jeff came in, I was like, hey man, I think things are looking pretty okay. Like we might be able to make some ground because I'm, trying to buy a big house and everything. And he's like, all right, well, let's look at your FICO. And I was like, I got it pulled up right here. It's on Credit Karma. He's like, no, your FICO score, bro. What do you call it? That was a
Vantage score.
Vantage score. So when we looked up the FICO, it was like 100 points less. So Jeff's going in, he's raising the score, and then we're going to go into applying for all the different credit lines. And then what do you do to help increase the credit? You put people on how do you
authorized user?
Authorized users? Okay.
Yeah.
Talk about that process.
Yeah. So if you're like really early, if you have bad credit or you are just early in the stage of building credit, a really good thing is just to get added as an authorized user onto someone that has good credit and has had the account for a while. So what I mean by that is like I have a credit card here. Okay. I want Rob to get better payment history. I want him to have another account reporting. And his age is really young. Okay. He's only had credit cards for a few years. So that's another category, is your average age of accounts. That's something that we all struggle with being young entrepreneurs, is we have a really low average age. So I will add, say I'm like 35. I have 10 years of credit history on this credit card. I will call this credit card company and say, hey, I want to add Rob Quinn onto this credit card as an authorized user. So he will have to give me some basic information about him. I will add him onto an authorized user. So he is authorized to use this credit card. I don't actually have to give him this credit card, but he is authorized to use it. So this card will report onto his credit, and he adopts the full payment history of that card, all the information from that card. So if I've been making on-time payments for 10 years, he now has 10 years of positive payment history reporting onto his credit, which increases his score. Especially in the average age of accounts category within your score. So that's one thing that you can do pretty easily. I was lucky enough to have I had my dad do that for one account for me, and that really helped early on in the process. If you do not have anyone in your family or friends or anyone that has, keeps their balances low, makes on-time payments, and has had the card for an extended amount of time, if you don't have anyone that then you can go on to like wholesaletradelines.com or any website that brokers trade lines. Just type in buy trade lines online. A trade line is just a credit account. So you can go buy trade lines and increase your score. One thing I do want to note, though, is so many people think that trade lines are the end-all be-all, and they're not, because they are not a primary account. So when you actually go and apply for credit, it's great to have a good score to get you in certain categories, but they're looking at what primary accounts does this person have when they do the underwriting. So if you want like lower interest rates and a higher line of credit, you need to start building your primary accounts now, because authorized users don't really help with much except for increasing your score. So when they actually do the underwriting, they're like, oh, this person has an authorized user account, but that's not really his. So, we're not going to extend him $30,000 if he only has a primary account worth like $5,000. So that's why it's so important to start building your primaries now and soon, because you have to age them, and it takes time, and it's just really important.
Guys, so this is exactly why I work with Jeff on this. I have a lot of people I partner with that like do something different, and Jeff is like a fucking master at his trade. So I also want to discuss the umbrella, because the umbrella for your business, a lot of time people can work with someone that does credit repair, somebody that does credit building, somebody else that'll work with getting rid of derogatory marks on your credit. And Jeff does everything under one umbrella. So can you talk about what that line of service looks like and how it is like streamlined?
Yeah. So really, when I set up my business, I was really just working with people that had good credit, and that's still what I aim to do, is working with people with good credit. But what I noticed was that I could increase my top line revenue if I could just start repairing other people's credit. So we have software that challenges inconsistencies. Instead of like just disputing like 97% of the credit repair companies, we challenge inconsistencies on the report. So your address is reporting differently, your phone number is incorrect, your name is spelled wrong. Anything that's reporting incorrect in regards to what's reporting on the bureaus, we will challenge that instead of disputing. And honestly, I think it's a more ethical way than just saying, hey, this is a fraudulent account when it's really not a fraudulent account, because that's what most credit repair people do. So now I do, we do repair. And so from there, what I really like to do, what I'm really inspired to do, is to help people that already have that good score. So I have like a group on Instagram. I have like 100 and almost 70 people in there now. They pay monthly to be in there. It's just quick tips on how to make money, like big bonuses on credit cards. Like we have a travel booking agency. I have a specific employee that does all of our travel booking. So you will like fill out this form in the group, and that you say, hey, I want to go to this destination on this date at this time with this many people, and I'm looking for this. She will find you the cheapest prices for that and send them to you. We talk about Airbnb negotiations, how I save anywhere between 20 and 50% on every single Airbnb I go to. We talk about a lot of different stuff, how to just leverage your travel cards correctly, how to get approved for credit cards, how to leverage 0% interest. So that's kind of like my entry level group on Instagram. It's just really quick information that you can make money on every month or save money. I'm also managing well, it was $10,000, now it's $100,000. It's a crypto fund that we have in there that we're managing that. So that's just really fun to watch grow. And then I have a course that teaches everything about credit and travel, and then I do consulting, which is what I really like to do. So this is like, no one else is doing this in the space, and this is why I'm so different, is because if someone applies for my program, they have bad credit, we'll fix their credit for free when they get in the program. And then after that, what I'm doing is my mission in life is to help as many people, really my number is 100,000 people, become financially independent. So what financial independence means is when your passive income exceeds your expenses. So that's exactly what I'm doing with this program. It's a personal finance program, but it's credit focused, and I help people get their credit in good order. I teach them how to apply for 0% credit, and I give them connections at banks that I have. They get themselves a bunch of credit, and then we go through 8 different income streams that they can start leveraging other people's money to actually start those income streams. And then from there, I just teach them how to manage their money correctly. Since I've been investing for a while, I've been in private wealth management. I just teach them and coach them through that process. So it's credit, income, and wealth. And all 3 of those things are mapping towards financial independence. So that's what I spend a lot of time on.
Dude, that is crazy. I love that. Yeah, hearing all this right now, it's really fun to listen to you, because I remember I think it was a month after the mansion that in Atlanta, you launched your first program.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think I bought it. I think it was like,
yeah, you did.
Yeah. I thought I did. It was like $97 at the time.
Yeah.
And like, obviously it's worth way more now. And it is way more now, which it should be. Honestly, I think you should be pricing it higher. But dude, it's awesome. We only have time for a couple more questions, guys, because we're only going until 12:55 at the latest. And I didn't realize how long we've already been on this. So let me ask a couple of these questions that I had in the pipeline. So the first one, and if you guys want to get in touch with Jeff, we're going to drop some information that you're going to get at the very end of this. So stay on for another 10 minutes and we will get you that information. So when you look up your score with FICO, does it hit your credit negatively, like checking elsewhere?
No. So that's just going to be, so there's a hard inquiry, which means that you are applying for a credit card. Okay. So anytime you go and apply for a credit card, that's an outside institution pulling your report. That's called a hard inquiry. And that will lower your score between 3 and 4 points, but it depends on a lot of different factors. So that's not every single inquiry. But when you're checking your own score, that's just a soft pull on your credit, which does not lower your score.
Awesome. Okay, and that's really good to know. The next thing, so you talked about trade lines. What's your experience with trade lines? That's for Jay Lopez. And Jay, keep in mind, Jeff Sekinger didn't just do this for himself. He runs a company that does this for people, business owners, people, etc. So what's your experience with trade lines?
I mean, they work to increase your score. But the thing is, so many people don't understand that you have to have primary accounts. Like when you go for funding, if you're trying to get a bunch of credit or you're trying to get travel cards or anything, it helps to get your score up to a certain point to actually have you considered for cards. Like if you're below a 680, you're not going to get this Ink Preferred. I've had people get this Amex Gold with a 640. It just depends on what card you're getting, but the trade lines help you to get into that category. But like I said, when they actually pull the report, they see what primary accounts you have. So it's really important to still have primary accounts. Trade lines, I mean, you buy them. If you're buying it from a company, they take anywhere between, it's usually within 30 days they will report, and they'll stay on your report for like 70 days. The best thing to do is to do it right before you apply for credit. But the best thing to do is find a family member or friend to add you on, because you don't pay anything and it lasts forever until they take you off.
Awesome. That's a good answer. Awesome. And the next one, what top 3 cards would you suggest to start with and why?
Yeah, so you always want to start with, if you're just building credit, you always want to start with Chase, because they have a rule called the 5 and 24 rule, where you cannot get more than 5 credit cards or any credit accounts in the last 24 months, or they will stop giving you new credit cards. So I'm giving you this order for a reason, because of the rules that each bank has. Chase is the most strict with their rules. Then I recommend going to Amex. And then I recommend, if you are really just on the travel side, going to Citi. If you want to leverage 0% interest, go to US Bank. So Chase, Citi, or Chase, Amex, and then Citi or US Bank, depending on what you value more.
Awesome. Dude, that is really good information. Holy balls. Hey guys, if you need or have any other questions, we have time for maybe one more question before we dive into where you could find Jeff, what we have for you. So last question, whoever wants to grab that last question can do it now. And while that question is getting asked, let's go ahead. Jeff, where can people find you to work with you? Because I know that we've had, I mean, this video has probably already had a few hundred views while we've been on. So where can everybody go find you to work with you?
Honestly, the best spot is to probably just on my Instagram. First of all, I provide a lot of free value on my Instagram. I give you like the specific 3 things that you need to like before you apply for credit. I talk about business credit on there, a lot of different stuff. So I would go on Instagram, just at Jeff Sekinger, which is my name. And you'll find me on there. I get a lot of DMs, so I have someone that helps me manage that. But yeah, if you are interested in working with me, just shoot me a DM on there or just get free value from there.
Awesome. That is freaking sweet, guys. So where did you learn all this awesomeness? Question.
Oh man, a lot of different places and a lot of trial and error. Like I said, when I was starting my business, I partnered with people to help get financing for credit, and I learned a lot through partnering with them. To help secure lines of credit for startups. So it's really just a lot of trial and error, honestly, that, and then just a bunch of research and courses and things like that. So just the self-education route, you know how it is.
Boom. Yes. So great, man. We're going to get ready to hop off here. I want to let you guys know if you thought what Jeff had to talk about was awesome. And obviously you already know, I live in the world of sales. Everybody that I have coming to this in-person mastermind, I'm throwing August 23rd, 24th. Jeff will also be one of the speakers. Everyone coming to there is going to help you break down every part of your business that people have talked about or aren't talking about clear enough. So if you want to come listen to Jeff break down in detail what he talked about today, then you can DM me to get a ticket. I'll also include a link in this video along with Jeff's handle at the top. So I have your Facebook handle. I'll switch it out for your Instagram. But last question, if you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh man. I mean, I've always wanted to fly, so I would love to fly. I think, I already travel for free, but that would be like free.
That would be free. That's pretty sweet. Well, awesome, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, give the video a like and write a comment what you thought about it. Same thing with Facebook. We'd love to hear your feedback. It's been great so far on this live. So guys, go look up Jeff on his Instagram handle, which I'll link above in Facebook. And then if you want to get a ticket to the in-person mastermind, where Jeff will also be speaking alongside me and a bunch of other badasses in different lines of business, we'd love to have you. So thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. I'm excited to be there, man. I'm really pumped for this. It's like 3 weeks out now, right?
3 weeks out, man. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. I know you got a bunch of really, really strong entrepreneurs, so I'm pumped to be there.
Well, I'm glad to have you, man. Well, adios, guys. We will see you on the next one.